Right then, hello ladies and gents and welcome to the Community Shield. So, Man United playing with quite a few youngsters in the side, which wasn't actually something I was expecting with Joe Hart between the sticks. Chibuke, who's a regen for them, obviously we know that United have phenomenal regens on this game. It doesn't look too bad. Very, very pacey. Somewhat Rashford-esque up front with Callum Gribbin playing just off him, who looks like an incredibly tidy player. Where have they signed him from? Signed him from... right, he's a product of their youth academy. Looks really good for just 22, actually. So we're going to definitely have to be careful of him. I'm actually going to change things round now and tell Douglas to be a little bit more careful. Yeah, so get him to man-mark him. Hazard on the right. Blind Tester in the middle of the park. Looks like another tidy player that they've signed from Club Olympico for 2.2 million. Looks alright actually in terms of being a central midfielder. They've got Valentin Giroud, who we know they've signed from like Anderlecht, yeah, for 23.5 million quid last season or season before that, who is probably going to become like the next Cristiano Ronaldo or something. That's how good this guy is. Not exactly Cristiano Ronaldo, but maybe the next Giggs, for example. Amazing pace, amazing crossing, dribbling is probably going to be pretty decent as well. Good work rate and technique. It's basically the Belgium-ish Giggs. Lindelof on the right-hand side, so pretty pacey. You normally think of Lindelof and think centre-back, but he's going to do completely fine at right-back. De Vrij and Eric Bailly both playing at centre-back, and they've got another youngster in the form of Simon Carter playing left-back, who again, this is the thing about Man United. There are regens playing, there are youngsters playing, but Man United's youth academy is so goddamn good in this game that you can't really taken for granted. In terms of us, we of course have the man marking enabled. We're using fullbacks, we're starting things off with a standard mentality. Pre-season, we've actually been tweaking our approach. We've been playing with a slightly higher defensive line, using the offside trap and actually setting both our fullbacks to attacking wing-backs, and that's actually helped us score a lot of goals. And it's something that I'm going to be looking to try and use against anyone kind of like below the top 6 in the Premier League. Get more men forward, and last season I felt like we struggled to score goals in the second half of the season because most of our attacks were limited towards coming through the middle because we were very cautious trying to get hit on the counter-attack with how our fullbacks and wing-backs worked. Now, we're just going to go for it. We're going to try and attack teams a lot more. I hope that the risk pays off because it certainly did in pre-season, and it's almost going to be like a case of if you score 1, we'll score 3. That kind of concept against the weaker sides. But given that this is Manchester United, you can't take them for granted, so we are going to go with the regular fullback approach just to try and achieve that right amount of balance. We got Douglas playing in the DLP position. We're bloody paying him 115k a week now, so we might as well bloody do something with it. Elenya and Rog in midfield, Niang, Gray and Piaka up front, and to be honest, the only new player, the only new signing that's actually featuring in this starting lineup is Szczesny, which actually looks kind of bad on me because it almost makes it seem like I had 100 million to spend in the summer. We've not actually spent much, but it is a work in progress. We've got Barbosa, who still, I need to kind of wait for him to be trained at AMC. Barbosa is going to be a bit of a Andre Gray-esque situation where Gray wasn't really scoring that many until he finally got trained as an AMC, and then he became an absolute beast. We've also got Nano ready to pounce on the bench, but despite that, Barbosa could still feature, as well as players like Morales and Kunz. So we've got a lot of quality, a lot of attacking quality on the bench. We're lacking a substitute goalkeeper, but that's a risk I'm willing to take. Worst case scenario, we stick Thomas Callas in net because rumour has it he's quite a tall guy. But other than that, let's try and get revenge for what happened last season and win the Community Shield. Okie dokie. So here we go. Let's go for our... Oops, we can't because we're... Obviously, I guess that's Douglas's man marking. Hello, Piaka early on. Penalty, ref. Give us a penalty. Right, okay. So, the world-famous demand more. As we are 15, 19, 20 minutes in, and nothing has happened. But 35 minutes in, it looks like we're finally going to see the first highlight. It's going to be a tackle from the Swede in Augustinsson. Real nice switch of play coming out from Carlos Elenya as Varjek picks up the ball on the right-hand side. I really want to see big things from Varjek this season. Andre, one-on-one with Joe Hart, and it's a really good save. I'm struggling to find a centre-back, other than obviously that centre-back that went to Man City, who I really genuinely feel is going to be an improvement over what we currently have. Volkvist was someone we signed and spent a lot of money on last season, and didn't really pass it, Rog. Don't try and finish. Oh, didn't really utilise Volkvis as well as we probably could have last season. We were playing mainly Bath and Dumic at the back alongside Callas. But when I mentioned us, playing with wing backs and a higher line, obviously it's very helpful when you've got fast centre backs when you do play with a higher line. So if that is, and it will be the approach we're going to be trying against weaker Premier League sides, it makes sense to utilise the pace of someone like Volkvist alongside the pacier Callas, trying to play that high line, while someone like a Dumic or a Bath will get completely slaughtered trying to play with a high line. So, I mean, I'm going to calmly tell the lads I'm not really happy with what I've seen so far. There's no doubt with regards to the fact that we have been the better side. It's just a case of what we can really do to try and change things around. And I don't really think there is much we can do other than just keep playing the way we have been. You look at the stats, Man United have obviously had opportunities, but we've had the major opportunities. Let's just take a quick look at where most of Man United's shots have come from. Yeah, bar maybe what was probably a header there or a shot. Most of their attacks have come from outside the box, so I don't really feel like we need to make too many changes right now, unless Man United change to a 4-2-3-1, which is something Mourinho likes to do on this save. So, okay, back to the drawing board. So Hazard is now playing furthermore up front. They've actually brought on Miguel Garcia, who's another youngster, more of a striker, but a very, very pacey player. Without a shadow of a doubt. So our fullbacks are suddenly going to have a lot more work to try and do. Whilst we've got Daley Blind in midfield. Now the thing is, both Daley Blind and Tester ain't exactly the most physical or largest of central midfielders. So for that reason, I'm actually going to instruct Szczesny to not distribute to fullbacks, but rather to actually try and take long kicks towards Piaka. Now, let's actually just take another quick look. You might be able to guess what I'm trying to do here. So we're going to actually aim our kicks towards Nyang. And the reason for that is because now Nyang's going to be playing in the AMC position, which means that he might have to battle in the air a lot with them short two holding defensive central midfielders. And the reason why I went with Nyang over Piaka is because Piaka's got Lindelof on his side, who's a lot better in the air than Carter. The fact that this guy's more attacking kind of tells me that Varjek is going to have quite a busy half as well. So for that reason, I'm actually going to change him to an inverted wing-back just to try and counteract what it looks like Man United are trying to do, and just to quickly double-check that these guys are in fact man-marking the right people, which obviously sometimes they aren't when a formation change kicks in. Let's make sure Douglas is also marking Gribin, which he now is. But other than them changes, hopefully you guys have seen what I've kind of tried to do, what I've tried to reverse engineer. Let's jump straight into this second half and see what happens. It was a good first half, but we need goals. Nano's going to come on. Barbosa could come on for someone like a Nyang or a Piaka later on in the half. Douglas is also on a yellow card, so that's something we're going to have to be wary about. Corner coming in, though, and this is a great opportunity now for Man United to try and counter-attack from BK. We discussed his pace early on, but well done, Marco Rog. Real good defensive work. Oh, for God's sake. Oh, for God's sake, don't do this. Don't do... Oh, Jesus Christ. Can we counter-attack from that now? I think it hit one of our players' bottoms. Gray picks the ball up, who's still not come off. But Piaka is one-on-one with Joe Hart. Oh, my God, I thought that was a goal. I thought that was a goal, and there goes the third clear-cut chance. But just before this happens, I'm actually going to go into corners and make sure we've got maybe an extra person staying behind, because with this guy up front, well, not Dembele. Is that Karamoko Dembele? It is bloody Karamoko Dembele. Right, Karamoko Dembele. But yeah, with this guy up front, we've got to be careful. So I've actually told Douglas not to worry about man-marking Karamoko Dembele. Attributes that seem really anywhere near as good as Gribin. And one more demand, more shout to the players. And we might start to maybe sub on Barbosa, maybe tell the players to go a little bit more positive, because it doesn't seem like Man United have really managed to do much this half. So here we go. We're gonna try and really go for it now. So for that reason, I'm actually going to change Augustinson to a wing back on attack, just to give us that extra bit of defensive solidity. Romeu is going to come on. I think we can afford maybe one more change. Well, how's Garbosa in the air? It's not great. So what I'm actually going to do is let's get Garbosa on. Why do I keep calling him Garbosa? Barbosa on, and get Szczesny playing them long kicks out towards Piaka. right? And that's it. That's all of our cards really played, which might not be too much of an intelligent idea, given that that obviously this could go into extra time, I think. Or would it go straight to penalties? I'm not entirely sure. But we are going to tell the lads to be a little bit more expressive rather than change our mentality to attacking, see how that fares out, and then tweak as always. Defensively, we've actually looked pretty good. I'm quite happy with the Kalas-Volkvist partnership, at least based off of what I've seen of them so far. Once again, demand more. 81st minute. Can we grab a late goal? I think we definitely deserve it. Barbosa is going to shoot, and Barbosa grabs the goal. What a goal there from Barbosa. And that's what I meant. That's what I meant in the past few episodes from last season, where I said I feel like the deciding factor in some of them games in the second half of the season was that extra bit of composure, extra bit of finishing in the final third that we didn't get with players like Andre Gray and Nano. That Barbosa has definitely given us that extra bit of world class that we need to edge games like this. I know Man United are playing youngsters, but you know, this is so good for morale, and it would be awesome to be able to win the plate thing. What's it called? See, this tournament is so Community Shield. It's so not important that I weren't even sure what the hell it's called. So what we're going to do is lower our tempo a little bit, just change that to sometimes as well, that back to normal, and that should hopefully just allow us to hold on. Not throw too many men forward. I probably should change Augustinsson as well, unless we can get a second goal. And Barbosa grabs it. Wow. He's been on for seconds. Well, not for seconds, for minutes, right? I think we subbed him on around the 70th minute. Varjet came up. He's been told to be more defensive, to be fair, but he's decided to come up for the throw-in. Looks like Piaka was having a stroll around, just about confused Phil Jones, who of course wants to come back to Blackburn. That's why he gave us that goal. And there we go. 4 clear-cut chances. I don't care if they're playing some youngsters in Man United. We have completely dominated them today. We made tweaks. We made changes tactically where we needed to. We came into the game with a game plan. And both Kalas and Volkvist as well have been very, very good at centre-back. Can he get the hat-trick? De Vrij says no, but I don't care. What a way, competitively, to introduce himself to the Blackburn Rovers fans, our new signing, Gabriel Barbosa, who I might nickname as Garbosa, because it seems like I'm going to end up calling him that all season. Now, last season, when we beat Man United in the first game of the season, we know how that ended. But we've got Chelsea next, which will be the next episode. It'll be a double episode where we'll play Chelsea and then Man United in the Premier League. And the Man United Premier League game is obviously going to be a completely different kettle of fish. A lot more at stake, and it's going to be at Old Trafford as well in the Premier League. But to get 6 points out of these 2 games, if we manage to do that, would be such an awesome kickstart to our season. But on that note, the fans are praising me. I've got no idea how many trophies I've won so far. Carson has actually been released on a free transfer to try and help us out in terms of FFP. Let's actually see where that leaves us. So we're now just spending 38k a year. So basically getting rid of Scott Carson on his own reduced spending over 700k to 38.17k. So it just goes to show that we might need to just sell a player or two, negotiate some new contracts and so on, and see where that takes us. And I'm still probably going to be looking to try and offload someone like a Douglas or someone like that, if the right offer does, of course, come in. I feel like there's one more thing I wanted to talk about, but I'm not entirely sure what it's going to be. Yeah, so obviously with Carson going, it does actually seem like João Dinicio is going to stay at the club. So we might find ourselves playing him basically in all our cup competitions. He's playing in the Portuguese top flight, so Szczesny won't mind coming out for the odd game or two, and I don't think he's really going to start costing us games. And with him being on only 8.7k a week, he might as well be our backup goalkeeper, since he doesn't really want to go out on loan, it seems. But that is going to be it for this episode. I'm buzzing with that win over Man United, but we were buzzing when we beat him in the UEFA Super Cup last season, and we know we've got to keep our heads screwed on, and there's still a lot of games to be played. I've been kind of, if you've enjoyed this video, can this be our title winning season? I guess you're going to have to hit the subscribe button, the like button to find out. See you next time.